Welcome back to another one, Blue is Our City, Manchester City fan channel. And today we're going to be talking about a few interesting points. I got to do this video a little bit slower. I'm trying to get back on my StreamYard game here. So I'm going to use the interactives a little bit. So bear with me. But today we are going to be talking about Manchester City versus Chelsea two times coming up on Saturday in the Premier League. Also, we know that they have now advanced into the Champions League final. So we're going to be taking a look at that. But before we get going, if you're new to the channel, just bear with me right here. This is one thing I do like about StreamYard is that consider joining the fam, bro. That's all it is about, yo. Hit the like button, consider subscribing, but most importantly, get at me in the comments. The whole goal of this channel is to be able to link up people from over here in the States like I am and reach people across the pond, but also reach fans everywhere, man, because I believe in one thing, Manchester City fans without borders, that we all able to talk and communicate, but also connecting football fans. It doesn't even matter what team you support. So let's get into this, bro. Manchester City versus Chelsea. Now, obviously, we know that Chelsea has advanced past Real Madrid. As of yesterday, me personally, I would have rather played Real Madrid. I'm keeping it all the way a buck with you guys. I'm not fronting at all because we had some of that experience of beating Real Madrid last year. But now, yo, we got to play Chelsea. And I must say, I'm not really looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to Manchester City possibly winning their first ever Champions League. So I'm hoping that the boys will do that. But we're going to look at Chelsea right now. Manchester City versus Chelsea coming up in Istanbul at the end of the month. And I want to say, yo, I'm not looking forward to it. I really don't want to play them. But at the end of the day, let's get it on, baby. So rest in peace, my man D and Max. Shout out YO. But that's the way I'm feeling about it. Now that we've reached this point and we're in the Champions League final, we got to get it on with whoever is going to be in front of us. And obviously, it's going to be Chelsea. And, one thing about Chelsea, I will say, and even to Manchester City's point, when you look at both of these squads, right, like you really got to think about it. Coming into the year with the way we started off this campaign, we were absolute rubbish. We were trash. We were everything with the way that we started and the way we were able to turn our season around, especially in the Prem. We were doing well in the Champions League, but it's just remarkable. When you go back to the beginning of the year, we were starting off looking like trash, and then we turned it around. Now, take Chelsea on the other end. As Chelsea started out the year with their ups and downs, I mean, they had points where they were looking good early in the campaign underneath Frank, but then Frank got the sack, and that's up to them. But Thomas Tuchel has come into Chelsea, and he's done a remarkable job. So you got to really look at the totality of both of these teams and the way that they turned it around first and foremost. So now that we hear it's going to be Pep Guardiola versus, Thomas Tuchel. And we know that last time we played Chelsea, it was a boring game. I ain't gonna lie. Chelsea, that's one thing I do not like about playing Chelsea. Chelsea essentially line up with 5 attacking players and 5 defenders, and they counterattack FC. But keeping it a buck, they're kind of boring to watch. But we playing a one-off game, so anything can happen in this game. But with them, they're going to be happy to sit back and try to hit us on the counter. So now that match is set in stone, I'm looking forward to getting it on, right? So before we talk about that, we got to deal with something that's coming up on Saturday, and that is none other than this. We got Manchester City versus Chelsea coming up on Saturday in the Premier League, and this one is going to be a tricky one, yo. It really is, in my opinion, and the reason why I say it's tricky is because obviously we want to win, so that way we can win the Premier League. But there's something else we have to think about, right? And this is what I mean by that is, honestly, if it's me, I'm not sending anybody out there from the first team. We got to play them, 2 times and at the end of in this month. And, it's going to be real tricky. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But, playing against Chelsea, I've always said this in my other videos, and please let me know if you guys disagree. But outside of Manchester City, I firmly believe that Chelsea has the second best midfield in the Premier League. And it's really, they got talent in their midfield. Now, you can throw other teams in there, which I've alluded to in other videos, such as like United has a good midfield, but they not really on the same level because they be trying to play Pogba on the left-hand side, and then they still got Matic, Fred, so they kind of lower down the pecking order than me. But when you talk about Chelsea, you talking about a quality squad that knows how to line up with these 3 center backs, Aspie out there, he might just be another defender, but then Chilwell is definitely attack on the other side. So it's going to be an interesting match, coming up this weekend, because it's obviously like a scouting opportunity almost. And I know we have a lot of technology built in to where these managers are able to watch videos and see everything from a tactical analysis standpoint of any match that they want to see, just by pressing a button on a laptop or on a tablet. But this is really a scouting opportunity. It's a scouting opportunity for Chelsea. It's a scouting opportunity for us. We knew that we played them in the FA Cup, and we actually got that win early in the season against Frank. But you might as well just throw that out the window, because it's just like a whole different team now. But they're a tough opponent. You know what I mean? They really are. Thomas Tuchel has done a great job, but I think the way Manchester City are, the way we're performing right now is just so good. What the one performance I will say is the way we looked versus PSG in that second leg. If we come out with that type of energy, I don't think anybody can stop us. I mean, I don't even know what the boys were doing against PSG, but it was remarkable, the level of energy, the level of desire that they played with. And if we go out there and get it done on Saturday playing that, nobody can beat us. It's not really going to matter, But let me get on to what I call the question of the day. And I just kind of alluded to it a second before. I really want to know, Manchester City fans, if you a Chelsea fan and you watch this question is for you too. Who starts on Saturday? And this is kind of like a doozy, and I just alluded to it. Do you go full strength if you're Manchester City? Because if you go full strength with our first team squad, knowing that we've had a few days off now and the boys have recuperated, but are we going to give Chelsea just another chance to scout our first team lineup? In my opinion, bro, if you asking me who starts, it's going to be Liam Delap. It's going to be Tommy Doyle. It's going to be Eric Garcia. It's going to be Zach Stephenson. I'm dead ass serious about that. I don't want to give them anything to look at. And examine prior to the game in Istanbul. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm willing to risk this Premier League game just so that way we don't give them too much to look at. Obviously, we know anything's liable with Pep, but I'm really thinking about that. Now, coming from a Chelsea perspective, it's going to be interesting to see what Thomas Tuchel does. Does he go out there with the full strength squad, or does he heavily rotate? And both managers are going into it saying, "Hey, we're not going to give you anything to look at as far as our first team players." So, question of the day out there, the Manchester City fans, out there, the Chelsea fans, let me know who starts the match, and are you taking an approach to say, we want to throw our first team squads out there, or you want to throw B team EDS out there, under 23 players, so that way, nobody is able to scout too much. So let me know what you guys think about that. Now, the one thing I will say about this, and I've alluded to it previously in this video, but in also other videos, is that Chelsea definitely have the second best midfield. And it's really tricky to get at them because they're so defensively sound. They're just waiting for you to sit up there and try to score against them. And then you load up everybody, and then they hitting you on the counter attack with pace. But the one thing I will say, in watching a little bit of that Real Madrid game, is that I thought Real Madrid were pretty solid, when you get the ball between the goalposts and what I like to call that David Silva space, from the goalpost on one side over to the left-hand side, extended just a little bit, in that David Silva space, or on the right-hand side, from the right-hand side of the goal to all the way flirting a little bit further right, which I like to call the Kevin De Bruyne spaces. So I think that that's the way to get at them. You can have the ball out wide as much as you want against Chelsea, but that doesn't seem to work. And when Real Madrid was kind of playing between those lines or between the goalposts, they were more effective doing that. But that's just the way Chelsea can press you and say, you know what? I know you want to get the ball here, but we're not going to let you get the ball here. We're going to extend you out wide. So it's going to be real tricky to see how we get at them. But I think that that's the way to get at them. When you try to have the ball out wide, especially with Manchester City, knowing that we don't have a lot of height up there with the striking positions, it's going to be real interesting to see how we get at them. But that's just my observation. Let me know in the comment section, if you're Pep Guardiola, how are you going to get at this Chelsea side? You know what I mean? So they have quality players, and I'm about to touch on one of them, is They got some superstars in that midfield. You talk about Jorginho, you talk about Galo Conte, you talking about Mason Mount. You know, they got some talent in this midfield, but that's just my assessment of the situation. But there's certain players that we definitely need to watch coming up. And yo, honestly, and I need to kind of get over here for this, is that I want to talk about this young gentleman right here. And this young gentleman has had a hell of a season. I can remember early in the season where everybody was bashing him. Now, I'm over here in the States, and I've alluded to this before too, is that I watch a lot of ESPN FC. Sometimes I catch what the BT Sports crew say. And, you know, a lot of talk about him was that he wasn't ready. He wasn't physical enough. But I would say this kid has turned it on. And Kai Havertz is looking like a monster. And the one point that he's looking like a monster to me is that, yo, son is kind of tall. Yo, he's kind of tall. When he gets in that box, yo, he's a big dude. And he was so fortunate yesterday. Yo, he gets the ball. He tries this little flick over Courtois. It hits the bar, and then it comes right down to Timo Werner. How many times do you see that? You hardly ever see that. But the way he's able to get on top of headers, I mean, he's really turned it around. So, you know, on this channel, I don't really take a shot at all teams. There's certain teams I take a shot at, but sometimes I give credit where credit is due. Now going on to the next player. This right here is the main guy we need to watch. I mean, he was outstanding versus Real Madrid. I mean, not only the battery in his back, for him to be able to be little Energizer Bunny all over the pitch from a defensive perspective, kind of going on over the offense, but I think this is the one guy we got to really pay attention to. And it's going to be interesting to see how Pep Guardiola deals with him, not only in the Champions League final, but if he happens to play, you know, on Saturday, is, yo, I would consider man marking this guy, because this guy just gets too many things done. So, yo, we're going to have to really pay attention to him. The third player I really want to pay attention to with Chelsea is this guy. He had so many heading opportunities. Now, obviously, he didn't have a goal against Real Madrid, but, you know, he was getting on headers, and I don't like that. I think Ruben Diaz and John Stones will be able to do a good job on him. I don't know if it's going to be Raji picking him up, but we need to watch out for this guy on set pieces, because he is quality when it comes to them corners. So that's one thing I noticed about. So hopefully we'll pay attention to that and kind of get things going from that perspective, right? So let me take that down. Bear with me right here. And I'm saying all in this is that, yo, whether we win on Saturday, I'm really focused on playing Chelsea in the Champions League. And I know I want to finally lift up this, you know, Champions League trophy. It's been so long overdue. We definitely need this win just to top off a great season, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to that. But the next talking point is going to be very interesting. I want to know how you guys feel about this, because this is going to be a little spicy. So in order to do this, we definitely need to win the Champions League. But I want to talk about something right now. Just imagine this. And this is another reason why I want to win the Champions League. And people going to have something to say about this. But this is the reason why I'll give you a little bit of disclaimers here, is that imagine this. A lot of people have sight, but a lot of people do not have vision. And that's what we do on this channel. So imagine this. Manchester City versus Manchester United in the UEFA Super Cup. What a story that would be. What a story that would be. And just take time to think about it. So most people are like, yo, you know, them lot on the other side of town, yo, bro. Most days I hate these guys. Absolutely hate these guys. As you can see, I'm a Met fan. It's kind of like rooting for the Yankees. Absolute death to these people. But today is the one day that I am rooting for these guys to get through the Europa League and make it to the Europa League final and possibly win it. Yes, I said it. Absolutely, yes, I said it. And I'm going to tell you why. In the year where UEFA has came down on us, charged us with something, we beat them as far as, you know, winning our decision against UEFA, right? And then we go on to win the Champions League in the season that I hate these people. I don't care what nobody says. You know, these people over there in Zurich, these people are not our friends. They are not our friends. And I think all of these UEFA people are scumbags. But in the year where these scumbags have been messing with us, we win the appeal. Then we go out and win the Champions League. What type of story would this be? Is that Manchester City win the Champions League, right? And then the team who's supposed to be in, I'm not really going to show them disrespect because at the end of the day, they have won Champions League and they have an absurd number of EPL titles or Premier League titles, right? They do. We got to face facts on that. But yo, in a year where we win the Champions League, the lot on the other side of town, them Reds, they end up winning the Europa League or the Amadale Cup, as Gobridge likes to say. But then we face them in the Super Cup, right? We face them in the Super Cup, right? And then we get to have everything on the line because we know that this team is very difficult to play. They're very difficult to play, you know, and then let them talk about it. Yo, Ollie's figured Pep out and all this other nonsense, but this would be the ultimate derby, in my opinion. So I am rooting for United to go on and win the Europa League. I know that Manchester City needs to handle business first and win the Champions League. But what a storyline that would be where all chips are on the table. We're playing them in the Super Cup and it's all bragging rights right then and there. So that way Pep and Ollie can finally get it on. We can get it on with them lot on the other side of town in the year where we win the Champions League and they win the Europa League and we win the Premier League, doing the true double. And let's hear what they got to say. Now, obviously, we're going to need to win it, but that would be must-see television. But if you guys are just new to the channel, like I said, please consider liking this video if you enjoyed it and subscribing to the channel to help us link up with our brothers and our sisters over across the pond and other parts of the world. But until then, I'm definitely going to see you guys again. Probably going to do a little bit more of an extended preview for the EPL game coming up on Saturday, but I just wanted to be able to share my thoughts here with the family. So until next time, I'm out. Blue is our city. Peace.